Ever since becoming a minimalist a handful of years ago, I've always looked for new ways to live a more simple life. From my personal experience, decluttering, owning less, and becoming a minimalist with my time and energy has proven to be very beneficial for me. But there's a few things in particular that seem to make all the difference, and I wanted to share each and every one of those today in a video. These are 5 things that I do to live more simply. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and have the subscribe button go out and pick up Chick-fil-A, but don't remind them that it's Sunday. Let's get started. Read more often. I can definitely say that I don't read as much as I would like to. However, I've been actively pushing to work towards this. And I know it's boringly common for a YouTuber, especially a minimalist YouTuber, to talk about the importance of reading, but I don't really mean reading personal growth or finance related material. During the periods of my life where I would spend the most time reading, I remember always thinking to myself, why don't I do this more often? And it's not so much about getting value from whatever I'm reading, it's just the way it helps me relax and keep my mind from being in 100 different places all at once. And again, I don't necessarily mean reading something about personal growth or personal finance, because speaking for myself, I actually prefer fiction. As of lately, I've been making it a part of my daily routine to read for the last hour or so that I plan on being awake. Whereas before, that time would be spent scrolling through YouTube, or frankly, doing something that just doesn't get me ready to fall asleep for the night. Stay oblivious to the news. And this is something that I picked up from a YouTuber a long time ago. And it's also one of the main reasons why I wanted to leave social media in the first place. I wanted to stay completely oblivious to the news and just mainstream media in general. Because even if I'm not actively following any news source specifically, it always seemed to be shoved in my face via memes or the posts of others. And I can definitely say YouTube is guilty of this as well, but here I feel like I at least have a little bit more control over what shows up on my feed. Allowing myself to stay oblivious has really just helped my overall mood, consciously or subconsciously, and it's helped me focus on only the things that I care about. Listen to body. Now, not only was this something I didn't practice, it was almost something I actively worked against. And for a little bit of context, I'm talking about listening to my body's natural cues, not sleeping when I felt tired or continuing to eat when I wasn't hungry, and things like that. Specifically the part about not sleeping when I felt tired, I'd always tell myself that this or this needed to get done before I took a nap or went to sleep for the night. But honestly, what's more important than sleep? It's amazing how much better I'm starting to feel when I stopped looking outside of myself for the answer. And forgive the spiritual talk, but just for a second, consider how much sense that actually makes. I used to fight the urge to take a mid-afternoon nap because I felt like I was wasting time when I really otherwise could be getting something else done. In my case, working exhausted always seemed to be counterproductive and defeated the purpose of what I was trying to do. Don't check phone early. And I know I definitely talked about this before in one of my really early minimalism videos, but sadly, it's something I sort of strayed away from. Recently, I've made it a habit, once again, to not check my phone within the first hour or so that I'm awake. Unfortunately, I have zero self-control, and the second that I pick up my phone first thing in the morning, it's a guaranteed 30-minute session of scrolling YouTube or checking emails. I don't want to get too much into the science of it, but if I'm taking in information only minutes after waking up, it seems like it can only be a slow decline into boredom from there. And I can feel myself getting more anxious or restless throughout the day. Starting my day slower, quieter, and with more of a progressive intake of media simply just put me in a better mood throughout the day. Pick up one outdoor hobby. I know that in many videos in the past, I've talked about how important it is for me to spend some time outside. Because nothing can make me feel more restless than being cooped up inside all day. I've made it a part of my daily routine to spend at least an hour a day outside. But I think rather than just standing outside, the key for me was picking up a hobby that I'm very interested in, and it makes me want to be outside. Look, I tried to get a tray flip on camera. I'm just getting old. Riding around is usually my go-to activity, but in more recent times, I've picked up basketball, beach volleyball, and of course, taking care of my plants, as well as being lazy on the beach. I remember Matt D'Avella saying something in a video that just could not be more true. He talked about being so focused on getting work done and creating that he never allowed any time for inspiration. And that really resonated with me because I could confidently say that about 99% of the time, my video ideas come to me when I'm not trying to come up with video ideas. Living simply to me really means finding joy in the small things. And sometimes all that means is a little bit of daylight and activity. At some point every several months or so, I find myself falling back into the routine of overindulgence. And I think it's natural that this happens from time to time, but what's important is that I catch myself and consciously put myself back in the routine of living more simply. So I'm okay with a few hiccups every now and again. Anyways, those were just a few things that I do to live more simply, and I really hope that you found some value in this, and maybe you'll decide to take up skateboarding. As always, I appreciate the time you spent here, and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video, and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.